Jeff, Astro Bot.
Yay.
I want you to tell me all about your experience so far because I am only on World 2. And let me tell you, I saw your post on X the other day where you
Hmm.
were like playing both of these games, Space Marine 2 and Astro Bot
Oh,
at this.
yeah.
I could not relate more. I could not relate more.
Yeah. Two tonally different games that you
Hmm.
could possibly have released in the same week. It's uh Astro Bot, man.
Let's go.
I wasn't
Yes.
gonna get it. I wasn't gonna get it at all. I'm not a big fan of platformers. I haven't been for the
Mm.
past, I don't know, maybe like 8 years or so. I get some of the big ones and then I just like don't beat them. They can't hold my attention. I think I played 3 levels of Mario Wonder. That's side scrolling though. That's not 3D. Um, and then I put it away. This game though has my attention, man. It is just I got it after a few levels. I was like, I get what the hype is about. This game is just it bleeds fun and dopamine directly into your body with everything you do in it. Like the sounds, the feeling of the controller with the haptics, the visuals, uh, the level design, the multitude of different things you get per level. You're not doing the same thing twice for I don't know a very long time. I think it. I'm in world 3. That's where I am. So I'm just a little bit past where you are. You said you're on world 2, like
Yeah,
the
I'm just on World 2. I haven't
Galaxy
even
2.
finished the second world. Or Galaxy
Gotcha.
2, yeah.
Okay. Oh, dude, the theme level for World 2. Oh, oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. The Witch? I
I
don't want to spoil anything because
yeah,
um
because there's like I understand what like I've never listen when people get really upset, especially like with Elden Ring, people will get very upset over like oh spoilers for the area that you visit. I've never felt
mhm.
strongly about stuff like that. Like oh if you show me a
No, that
screenshot
stuff
of
I
an
don't mind.
area, whatever. Like it's the
Yeah.
story beats that I care about. Astrobot's like the first time that I felt like oh yeah don't tell me about the levels. I don't want to know
Yeah,
because like every
because
time
that
you hop
is
in.
the game.
Yeah, it is the
Yeah.
game, and you hop in, and you're just like, it just hit with I don't know. I feel like the best word to describe it is wonder. Like it should have been
Yeah, I mean,
Astrobot
yeah.
Wonder, you know?
I mean, they've copied a lot of stuff of Mario. They might as well have taken the name too.
Right,
But it
right.
is very Mario Odyssey. There's a
Oh,
lot of similarities in a good way. Like I liked Odyssey. I did finish Odyssey.
but
But this. Sorry, go ahead.
oh no, I was just gonna say, me and you are on the same page. Like as far as our experiences with games like this, they don't catch my attention either. I
Hmm.
don't really much care for them. Let alone will I sit there and come home from work and say, "This is how I want to spend my time." I
Yeah,
know
no,
that sounds horrible,
seriously.
but I mean, it's just not
Yeah,
my type of. It's not my cup of tea. I guess is what I'm trying
yeah,
to say, and it's not that it's bad. It's just I would rather be using a chainsaw sword, right? But
yeah.
oh my
Taste
goodness.
change and taste. Like I didn't like turn-based games at all until like Baldur's Gate 3, really, or Divinity: Original Sin 2. Now I'm kind of getting into that, and now this is the first platformer I love. Like it, I would never say that. I've fallen out of first-person shooters quite a bit. Like I used to play a lot of first-person shooters, and now I don't. Like I don't. Call of Duty's coming out, and I honestly couldn't really care less. To be honest,
Yeah.
will I play it? Yeah, it's on Game Pass, so I'll definitely play it. But
Mm.
I haven't bought a Call of Duty in years.
Really?
Uh, yeah, I don't think I've bought a Call of Duty since I guess the last. I guess Modern Warfare. So how many
Okay.
has there been between Modern Warfare and Black Ops 3 or 6? Like four?
2, 3, Cold
Yeah.
War,
Yeah.
and so
Like
guess
four, yeah. So
3.
it's been
That,
about
yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
And this game's gotten me to care about something I've never cared about, and that's collectibles. I never care about collectibles in games, and I
Right.
want to get all the bots, and especially the ones that are based off of a character, some type of like PlayStation lore, or they have so many characters from IP that you wouldn't even think that
Mhm.
they could get the IP from. And two, some you even forgot about. You're like, what the? Like, oh shit, I forgot about that. There's so much in here. Just everything makes you smile. Every little thing you do is like, oh shit, yeah, this is awesome.
It
That's
really
what
does.
gaming's about, right? It's about
Yeah,
excitement, and I think we forget that.
Yeah.
yeah.
We forget that we're supposed to be having fun,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and it's so cool to hear that you guys are loving it. I
Yeah,
love
every
that so
morning I play
much.
it.
I,
It's
Oh,
yeah.
it's so cool.
I mean, I think I even tweeted out the other day. I'm like, I haven't felt this way about a video game since the first time I picked up a controller and played Mario 64. It's that
Wow.
thing of
Oh, yeah.
just like, oh my gosh, like this is why I love video games. It's just such a cool experience. Because it just takes okay, you know how last week we started a new segment called Nathan Shows His Bits?
Yeah.
I'm gonna show.
I'm waiting
I'm
for it.
gonna-
I need to see the next.
This week I'm gonna show you my bits. All right. So I know Jeff, he's seen this, right? He knows what this is. But for Russell and Fraser, you might not know. But this is called a DualSense.
All of Nathan's
This
bits.
is called a DualSense controller, all right? So
Yeah.
this thing has this thing called haptic feedback, all right?
You wouldn't think
Okay.
so with some of the games. Though.
Right. Well,
What does haptic feedback do?
so
Tell me.
so haptic feedback, it's it's got all these different like, I don't know, Jeff could probably explain it better than I could.
Motors and kind of like
Motors.
doohickeys and thingamajigs inside of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Who's
Yeah,
this
that's
and
like that's a
what's this?
scientific term.
Yep,
Yep, exactly.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
So like,
Yeah.
Astro Bot really makes the most out of having a DualSense. You've got 50% of the noises coming from your fucking controller throughout the whole entire game. Astro Bot's constantly making noises through it. And I will spoil one tiny little thing. Have you ever blown your controller? No,
Sometimes.
no,
On
yeah,
camera.
sometimes. Okay, let me tell you something. I blew bubbles. In a video
Yeah.
game this week. All right, I had to go. It was great.
That is
Yeah,
so
you
cool.
blow the controller.
Yeah, it
That
was
is
like,
so cool.
yeah, I like walked up to this thing, and you gotta like blow bubbles through this thing, and then you gotta like jump onto the bubble, and you start floating into the air, and you gotta like grab on. Man, guys, this game is magical. It is the first game I've played in a while that I'm like, this is a console seller. Like, since we started this
It is
generation.
in theory. It's not working out that way in terms of. I don't think it's selling that well.
Yeah.
At all. Early reports.
No, it's
yeah,
not.
Oh.
That's what's
Yeah.
upsetting.
Okay.
It's like, I would definitely
I've got a question.
go for it.
With the controller making noises,
Mhm.
does that still work if you have headphones on?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
And the next question: does the Astro Bot controller do anything with the game?
No.
Like, does he make? Oh,
Nah. But I will
Missed
say,
opportunity.
I will
missed
say,
opportunity.
I will say though that playing the game makes me really regret not buying the controller, because I'm like, oh well,
Yep.
this is like a collector's item
I should have brought the
and a
controller.
controller mixed in one.
me.
It's very.
I've been looking for the Concord controller, to be honest.
Oh, have you?
That might be a collector's item.
Yeah, I've been looking for one.
Yeah, it's a nice looking controller, the Astro Bot one. It's cool. I do wish the
Yeah.
blue parts though were kind of like the rubberized grips that Xbox
Mhm.
does with their kind of special limited edition controllers. They feel like more premium, if that makes sense. If you guys have
Oh,
used
yeah.
like the 20th anniversary controller or anything like that, or yeah, exactly, something like that, and they just feel better. Where this literally just feels, it's the same kind of like gloss of the regular DualSense with just a different kind of color scheme and a couple like indentations and stuff. It's cool looking. It is nice, and the haptics are awesome, and not enough games use them. On a base level, like Fraser, the haptics just feel like any other rumble in any other game, but some games will do cool stuff because
Yeah.
the haptics feels like the motors are all throughout the controller and not just behind like the grips, kind of.
The little
So-
bits. Yeah.
Yeah, so you really feel, especially in this, like when he's walking, you feel like every little step that's kind of lower on the controller when it's like there's a rain part, whatever, and you feel like kind of like droplets kind of on it. It's cool stuff like that not enough developers do, and I can see why. Like it is take more work, more programming, and of course, the first party's gonna take advantage of it. It is pretty cool.
Well,
I like it.
I
It's-
will say that I mostly turn off the rumble in most games now anyway,
Mhm.
which is a shame, because it is cool. But when, like, we'll just say Call of Duty for instance, every time you pull the trigger, it shakes. Like, that's
Mhm.
fucking annoying.
Oh, you would
my
hate the
controller's just-
fucking haptic stuff then, like especially
Just
the trigger.
shaking all over the fucking. But then something like Astro Bot, when it's special,
Mhm.
like, that is cool. Like, I would definitely, I'd love to experience that at some point, and I'm sure I will. I'm sure I will.
Yeah,
Well,
eventually you could. Did you play any? Have you played any shooters on it, Nathan? Like any like first-person shooters or that use the haptics? Because that drove me nuts. I thought I was gonna break my
really?
DualSense the first time I played Ratchet and Clank because they also have pressurized triggers that can get stronger or weaker depending on the game. And some of the weapons used in Ratchet and Clank, you really have to pull on that trigger, and I just felt like it was gonna break. And I was like, I don't like this.
Oh,
This is not
really?
cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I could see that being a pain in something like Call of Duty or something like that, where they use that. So, yeah,
True.
I can see it going both ways. People hate it, people love it. I honestly don't play too many shooters, I guess, on there. Or the one that I've played, I haven't really had much of it. It's just kind of like, yeah, Helldivers used it, but it was more of like a kind of like a vibration, like each bullet you'd feel, like every bullet leaving would be kind of cool, but it didn't put pressure much on the trigger, which I liked.
Yeah.
It
Well,
felt weird. Mold. I
this
don't like
is
that new shit.
new bad, old good.
Yeah, give me that black and white goodness, right?
Exactly.
Color, fuck that.
This is
Yeah,
actually
give me a light gun.
It's actually a perfect segue into Space Marine 2. So I've been trying to keep up with all the chat, but the last that I had caught up with was that you were trying to swap out your copy of Space Marine 2 from PlayStation to Xbox. Did you ever successfully do that?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so what happened was I wasn't, again, another game I wasn't going to get, and the hype got, like, you guys were talking about it in the Discord. I had people in our chat talking about it, and then everything on Twitter. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay, I guess I'll do it. And then I wanted to get that gold edition because Steelbook, and I love the
Mm-hmm.
Steelbooks.
Mm-hmm.
And like you, I was just kind of like checking every once in a while, it was sold out everywhere. And then I went on there. I'm like, oh, it's in stock for PlayStation. I'm like, all right, I'll get on PlayStation, no big deal. And then it wasn't delivered on the Thursday or the Friday. So I contacted them like, hey, this thing I paid for, like more money is early access, and it's not that early access. If I don't get it like today, is it gonna be shipped soon? And they're like, well, it's hasn't shipped yet, but it has had a tracking or it has been registered with Pure Later or whatever. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll just cancel it because it's not gonna. I'm like, is it gonna get here on the weekend? No, probably not. Like Monday or Tuesday. I'm like, well, I'm gonna cancel it. And they're like, well, you can't do that. I'm like, why? Because it's already in the system. I'm like, oh my god. So I caved on the Monday and just got it digitally for Xbox. Because what happened is a Digital Foundry video came out, and it was one of the rare times where they really kind of said it's a clear advantage on Series X over PlayStation 5. So I was like, okay, well, figures. The time might go the
Right.
opposite way. That's what happens.
Yep.
So I decided to get it digitally, and then I guess had the gold edition delivered yesterday. So I got to
How
take that back
gorgeous
on
is
the
that
weekend.
steel case?
I haven't even opened it, dude, because I'm afraid if I open it like here, I'm gonna be like, fuck, I just want to keep this, and I'm not. I don't want to spend like that'll be like $200 on a game that I wasn't gonna get in the first place. So I'm not even opening the Pure Later package until I'm basically like right about to take it back
Yeah.
because I don't want to look at it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this out there and say
Oh, God.
I
Yeah.
would have paid $200 for this game.
Love that. I love that.
Yeah, you're a huge. Are you a big Warhammer fan though?
I am.
Okay.
I am. But there's just something about this, dude. There's just something about it. That's all I'm gonna say.
I've played the first two missions. Well, I don't know if it's a full second mission, but I played quite a bit into the second mission, and then I decided I'm going to finish Outlaws first because the control scheme on Space Marine's fine, except for putting dodge on A, which is ridiculous.
It's so weird.
It's so weird, and I kept hitting B and B, and I just kept getting mauled. I'm like, hey, I need to get the other game out of my muscle memory so I can, play this. So, but what I played, dude, I really, really, really like it. It's really good. It's so good looking. It plays so well.
Did you finish Outlaws to be able to dive into it this weekend?
No, well, I'm gonna finish Outlaws probably, depending on what time we're done here, either tonight or tomorrow morning. I'll probably be done. I'm at the very end of Outlaws.
Okay.
Yeah, I listened to the last couple of episodes of Indus, and I feel like I made a mistake skipping Outlaws. Like,
Yeah.
just from just from what you've been saying, like, sure, it's not gonna be game of the year, but it's still
Mhm.
like brilliant.
I
It
liked
kind
it,
of,
man. I
yeah.
sorry, go ahead. Kind of like.
Oh yeah. Sorry, you carry. You carry on.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say like the first couple shows when we were first playing it, it was like we are shitting on the game. I think it was only because most of like what we expected from it, especially from
Yeah.
the Star Wars license recently, that's not movies or shows. Uh, and it is weak. Like in terms of like some things it does with the onboarding to get new players in there, it does not do a good job. It has way too many instant fail missions at the beginning, and that really gets people to be like, I don't want to play this. And
Yeah.
I think that hurts it. And I think they should have started you with a couple of abilities you don't get till later in the game that help with the stealth and give you more options. But once you start playing it, once you get in the rhythm of it, once you start opening up some of those things, it was a blast. I ended up really really liking it. The Star Wars license I think does do a lot of the heavy lifting for people to really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think if it wasn't Star Wars, I don't think I would wanted to finish it. But you know, put your mind in like being like a scoundrel or something like Han Solo and this
Yeah.
character like Kay Vess, and it was great, and it gets so good towards the end, and I think you'll like it, dude. Like, I think any Star Wars fan will like it if you can really.
Yeah.
And this is so cliche to say you got to play the first like 5-6 hours, and in this probably it's more like 8 hours.
Yeah.
And don't just do the main missions. Like you got to do some of the side stuff, or else you're gonna miss a lot of cool shit. But I end
You
up
see,
liking it a lot.
I, as a general rule, I like Ubisoft games.
Hmm.
There's just something about them that maybe it's the comfort thing of like I know what to expect with a Ubisoft game.
Yeah.
Like, and for whatever reason, like the end of this year's just been so stacked. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna have to make some sacrifices somewhere. And I was like, do you know what? There's a massive Ubisoft game coming out at the end of the year. Do I need
Hmm.
two? I was
Oh
also
yeah.
worried that maybe Star Wars was gonna be massive,
Hmm.
and I was like, "Fuck,
Yeah.
do I
I'm
want
sure
to
you
do
didn't mean
two
that pun.
massive,
Eh.
two massive Ubisoft games like in the space of a couple of months?" I was like, I just can't do it. But
I will say it's not a traditional Ubisoft game in the traditional sense. It's not. Did you play Avatar?
no, no, I
I think it's
didn't.
more like Avatar in the way it's structured. You're not going to like towers and opening towers and you're seeing a bunch of icons pop up. It's
Yeah,
really it's Ubisoft in idea of like, yeah, there's a lot of side stuff, there's some collectibles, there's some all that kind of stuff it has, but it's not really structured like a traditional Ubisoft game, like not even like a Far Cry or anything like that. It's
interesting.
just yeah, so maybe there
Yeah.
might be a little bit of a difference there, a nuance between the two that you're like, okay, but I mean, it's probably going to be dirt. Also, like every Ubisoft game, they seem to drop in
Mhm.
price pretty quickly and go on sale.
Except Avatar, for whatever
That's
reason,
licensing probably. Maybe this won't drop
whenever,
either.
yeah, whenever, because like I do want to play it, but it's $150 in Australia. And
Oh,
when it
Avatar,
goes on, yeah, when it goes on sale, it's $110. I'm like, it's still too much.
isn't it on Game Pass now?
I don't think
Wait,
so.
Outlaws?
It might be on Ubisoft thing.
It,
Oh
it
wait,
is
that's
on the
right. Because
Ubisoft
that's
Plus
how I'm
thing.
playing. Okay, that makes sense. Because I forgot that's how I'm playing
Actually,
Star Wars. I
it's a
signed up for Ubisoft
perfect,
Plus.
it's a
Yeah.
perfect way of doing it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I might
Just
look into
pay
that
$20 and you'll be able to hop into it.
for
And
a
you'd
month or
also be
two, and then I
able to
can
play
smash
Avatar.
out Star Wars and Avatar.
Hmm.
Mhm.
There you
Good
go.
idea.
Boom.
There we go.
Yeah, that's kind of
That'll
what I'm
dry up
thinking
your
because
cake.
I'm that's kind
Wet
of been
cake
my
brain.
that's kind of been my thought. Like whenever I do eventually try it, because I'm like, you know what? I think because I still haven't even played Mirage, so I'm like Mirage, that, and Prince of Persia are all three
Oh
games that
man,
I might
so
try
good.
to get into.
Yep.
Steelbook,
I can't
Oh,
see
it's
it.
gorgeous.
you can't